One thing I've learned, and it's always a great story if it's true, that the CEO of McDonald's grew up aspiring to be the CEO of McDonald's. That anytime he'd be watching TV and a Ronald McDonald commercial came on, he stopped what he was doing. And that's where I want to be. I want to be the person responsible for that clown. I want to be the one who hires the next generation of Ronald McDonald. I want to be the one who comes up with the modern day Ronald McDonald. I want to guide McDonald's into the future. Usually what happens by the time someone is at the CEO level, there's this weird sub-industry of CEOs. And you just go from company to company. And the next company that you serve as the CEO may have absolutely nothing to do with the goods and services offered by the last company you served as CEO. And here's how that's relevant to the NFL. One of these days, the commissioner of the NFL is going to be a CEO of the NFL. And who knows? I guess we should be careful which CEOs we poke good-natured fun at, because one of them could end up being the commissioner of the NFL one of these days, with a number two who's basically the czar of football, which is essentially, in theory, the current commissioner job. But it's a CEO because the NFL has many business interests now, and they're into all sorts of other things. They've got equity positions in multiple companies, and there's different political threats that they need to keep at bay. And it is an executive job now. It's not what it used to be. And whenever Roger Goodell retires, and I still believe he won't be retiring anytime soon, the one guy that's going to work until he's 80 is the guy who says, I'm never going to be here until I'm 80. I mean, why would you leave? Why would you leave? If I had that job, I'd stay in it until I'm 80, 40, 50, 60 million. We don't even know how much he makes now because the NFL league office changed its tax structure from nonprofit to the more traditional. And people are like, oh, the NFL doesn't pay taxes. Well, no, they pass the money through to the teams, and the teams pay taxes. That was a more advantageous tax structure, but the NFL got dragged for it through the 2011 CBA talks and elsewhere, and it's a disingenuous argument. And ultimately, the NFL was shamed into giving it up, and now we have no idea what the commissioner makes. So thank you. Congratulations, everyone that created a non-issue for PR purposes regarding the NFL. Now we have no idea what that job is worth. But whatever it is, he's been doing it 20 years. He's got it perfected. He does. He knows how to. I mean, he's herding cats in the form of these multi-billionaires. He knows how to keep them all happy. He knows how to keep everything moving. They're making more and more and more money. The item I just posted this morning before hopping into the shower and then snapping my toupee into place deals with network executives reportedly believing, according to John Orand of Puck, that the league wants new TV deals in place by the start of the 2026 season. And I suspect that when those deals are done, the $10 billion per year that the NFL gets is going to dramatically increase, as it always seems to do, to numbers that will make people say, whoa. But it happens every time. We've been saying, whoa, for 35, 40 years when it comes to the next wave of NFL TV deals. But there is a concern, and man, we really are doing the weave again today, but there is a concern, I think, that there will be political pushback because I think there's going to be some streamers that throw some beyond ridiculous money on the table.
Oh, for sure.
Which is going to increase the monthly prices that we all pay for access to the service. That in the old model where it was all over-the-air broadcast, well, the advertisers just pay more money. The property's more valuable. How do we make back all this money we're giving to the NFL? I mean, there were two ways. One, advertising costs. And two, in the old days when the networks actually mattered, having the NFL meant having the ability to promote all your other shows. Murder, She Wrote, for example. Pat Summerall, the classic.
Nice little Pat Summerall reference there. Well done. That great voice,
born of years of cigarettes, makes that voice nice and deep, nice and gravelly. But now that's not there. Now you've got, what do you really? You still see promotions, but, and I know I'm treading on thin ice here, but I'm making this comment generally. What the hell does anyone watch on network TV other than sports now? What are the shows, especially live? What does anyone watch live?
Well, live. I think that's
got to tune in. Got to tune in Tuesday night at 8:00 Eastern on ABC for Happy Days. No, 1975, the world stopped spinning for Happy Days. Everybody wanted to see the Fonz walk in, hit the jukebox. Richie, Ralph, Potsy, Mr. C, Mrs. C, wanted to see them all. And if you missed it, you were SOL. If you didn't turn into ABC, you're SOL. Unless the rerun swung back around in June when you weren't home anyway, because back in those days, kids actually were outside until it was dark and maybe sometime after. So, bottom line, McDonald's CEO, well done. Yeah. You may be the commissioner of the NFL one of these days. We don't want to piss you off before you get the job. We'll wait till you get the job to piss you off.
Listen. We just gave a one-on-one example of what not to do when you're trying to woo a sponsor. We just crushed any deal there. So I don't think that's going to happen for us. But we're just getting used to it. We're getting used to it, and we're going to start recruiting some others. But I think you made a great point. I know this is not on the rundown with Roger Goodell, but Roger Goodell as a CEO is perfect for the NFL. You think about all the things that he's done. He's taken it from, and this is a compliment, for their purposes, for ownership purposes. NFL, once upon a time, kind of a mom and pop operation with some of the franchises. They were not in it to make billions of dollars. They didn't think that their franchises would grow to those levels. And so it was that kind of league. Thinking of Burt Bell, thinking Pete Rozelle, even Pete Rozelle, and that was a modern era. There were still some franchises that were doing really well, and other franchises, hey, we're the local football team, but we're not worth $1 billion or $5 billion or $6 billion. You saw, some franchises who just did the valuation, sold for a $12.5 billion valuation, selling part Dolphins. Of the franchise. So it wasn't that, but Roger Goodell came into the league took over as commissioner, before there was Twitter, before there was Instagram, before we said streamers and knew what a streamer was, before there were just rampant podcasts. He has taken his old school sensibility, new school resources, combined them, and he's the rare CEO because, Mike, a CEO of another company just would not love the NFL CEO role. So most CEOs say, the buck stops with me. Okay, I get to make these decisions. NFL CEOs / commissioners say, well, I got to serve the owners. So I'm the figurehead, but I am not telling these owners what they need to do. They're telling me what I need to do, and I communicate the message to the public. So most CEOs, they don't want the smoke that NFL commissioners usually get, and they usually get it from the other owners.
Well, and Goodell has done such a good job in his 20 years with the NFL as commissioner. He's been with the NFL forever. He is the classic kid growing up, I want to be the commissioner of the NFL. He is the guy who only ever wanted to be NFL commissioner, and he's held that job for 2 full decades now. But I think, and I know that some around the league think, that he has more power than the usual commissioner. And we've seen in recent years less of an owner's dictating terms to the commissioner and more of the commissioner dictating terms to the owners. And really, there's 5 or 6 at the most that really have the power. Those are the ones that have to be best managed. But beyond that, case in point, when the commissioner decided he wanted to have a flex option on Thursday night, and there was opposition to it, John Mara loudly opposed to it. Commissioner got what he wanted. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. Doesn't happen all the time. Last year, the commissioner wanted the tush push to be gone. I believe the commissioner is the one who was watching the NFC Championship game and saw the Commanders repeatedly jumping offside and said, this just looks awful. We can't have this. We got to get rid of this. And so the league office approached the Packers to propose an elimination of the tush push. That failed. The league office approached the Lions to propose a reshuffling of the seeding. So, and I still don't know how this works, but regular season games would be more meaningful if you no longer guarantee a home game for every division winner. But that's something that the commissioner wanted, and it didn't get through. But he typically tends to get the things that he wants at this point. And again, he's perfected it. Michael, at one point,
it might be longevity too.
I wrote something.
It's just, I'll just say quickly, it's just longevity of, hey, if you're on the job for 20 years, when you come in, there are a lot of institutions that are still there, like these owners who have been around for a long time, and they kind of counsel you, they take you on their knee and say, let me tell you, young fella, this is how it is. But there's a lot of new money in the league now. Al Davis was there. Now Al Davis is gone. It's Mark Davis. Terry Pagula was not there. So Roger Goodell predates Terry Pagula. He predates the Broncos ownership. He predates Josh Harris in Washington. I mean, think about some of the new owners who have come into the league. And even though, say, Arthur Blank was there before Goodell, I think he took over in like 2002 or somewhere in there for the Falcons. But Roger Goodell, as you pointed out, was already on the track. He was already on the commissioner's track in the early 2000s. So he felt like, even though he didn't have the position, he did have some power behind the scenes. So maybe he's a different kind of commissioner. It's just longevity. I've been around for a while. I know how this works. And so I'm not, maybe 10 years ago, I had to listen more. Now with more experience, I got some more power.
I think 10 years ago is the key, because it was right around then, closer to 8 or 9, but let's go with 10, that Jerry Jones kind of made a run at Goodell. Remember that awkward partnership between Jerry Jones and Papa John, and everything went sideways. Jerry's attitude was, why are we paying this guy so much money? We can find someone else for a lot less money to do this job. You could find somebody who'll do it for $10 million, not $50 million. We're saving more than $1 million per team if we do that, which means Jerry's saving, the equivalent of 1 week of maintenance on his yacht. If
he runs the Cowboys the same way,
if he can leverage the commissioner job. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the Cowboys, a point you made earlier, the Dolphins, Stephen Ross selling 1% of the team at a valuation of $12.5 billion. That's a record.
That's incredible.
And that's just for 1%. The general thinking is that if you have controlling interest, that equity is worth a lot more. So if a little sliver, if a little piece of vanity sports ownership, because Lin Bin, the tech billionaire who's buying 1% of the Dolphins, what is that really getting him? Are you going to impress friends and family members by saying, I own the Miami Dolphins? Oh, really? How much? 1%. What? Lynn, we can't hear you. How much do you own of the Dolphins? 1/100th of the team for $125 million. I can't do a lot of math, but I can divide $12.5 billion by 100, $125 million. And back to Jerry Jones, as we do a Friday morning weave, far different than the Thursday morning weave that we did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Thursday morning show at your own risk. But Jerry Jones paid $140 million for the whole Cowboys team in 1989. $140 million for the whole team. Now you're getting almost that much for 1% of the team. And apparently, according to the AI overview on Google, which who the hell knows, $65 million for the team and $75 million for the stadium in 1989. So, and look, for all we know, 1% of the Dolphins, I've seen it characterized as 1% of the Dolphins, but Ross has this stadium, and he's got the F1, and he's got this, he's got that. So if it's just 1% of the team and only the team, that's incredible. And whoever is responsible, whoever's getting a commission on the sale of the Seahawks is very happy to hear that 1% of the Dolphins is $125 billion when 100% of the Seahawks is up for sale. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.